When you look at what Carlo Ancelotti is trying to build there, he's trying to turn Everton into a top 6 side. And to do that, he's going to need his best players. A 22-year-old Brazilian number 9 is one of their best players. And I know Calvert-Lewin has been absolutely superb for them this season and has flourished under the new boss. But you get the feeling this is a big test for what the club want to do in terms of the direction of the future. If they can rebuff Barcelona, and not many clubs can do that. When Barcelona come knocking, we've spoke about it already on the show, if they come calling for a player, invariably he leaves. So this is a big test for the football club, it's a big test for the board, and it's a big test for how much they back Carlo Ancelotti in terms of building a squad. And one that's going to challenge as well, particularly with a player like Richarlison, who is a focal point. He's the man that gets the goals. He's the talisman. He's the one that everyone looks to get things going when things perhaps aren't going so great. So this is a big test for the club and a really interesting one.
It's like you said, 22.
Yeah.
Like we spoke so much over the summer. I said this morning on Good Morning Transfers about Wilfried Zaha, and Crystal Palace wanted £80 million for that player. You know, Richarlison's 5 years younger than Wilfried Zaha, so his age is a key thing. But also, we're now talking about this a day before deadline day. Everton are not going to want to let Richarlison go. He is integral.
I think it says a lot about the player as well, doesn't it? The fact that this bid, we understand, came in earlier in the week, and the player has, he has been really quiet. It hasn't come out and said, right, I'm going to down tools. Oh, I'm angry. I can't believe I'm not going to Barcelona. I think it says a lot about the project that Carlo Ancelotti is going to try to build over the next couple of transfer windows. That there is a movement at Everton that, look, we're going to get this right, okay? We've got most of the players we want in already. Richarlison is the man. We're going to build a team around him, and we're going to make him feel special. And I think Everton have probably managed to do that if his head hasn't been turned by Barcelona.
I mean,
so much
about Richarlison. So I don't mean to cut you back. I just think he gets a lot of attention sometimes for his inconsistency because he scores in patches. He might score 5-6 games in a row and then might go 5-6 games without scoring. But the talent is undeniable. I've seen it both at international level and club level for 2 different clubs now. So when you can get the best out of him on a consistent basis, like he is one of the best sort of prominent stars under 24 across the world probably. So can they get that Richarlison on a consistent basis? That's the next question, and that will be the project for Carlo Ancelotti.
The thing is, it's not just about goals and assists with him though, because you were talking about work rate.
Yeah.
So he is one of the highest tackle success rates in the Premier League. Obviously, everyone above him is a defender or a defensive midfielder.
People really don't underestimate how good of a footballer he is in terms of, as you say, things that go don't get the attention they deserve in terms of his tackling and his work rate, because we look at those attacking players, we think to ourselves, they should really just be scoring goals. And the first thing we do is look at their statistics. But at the same time, Richarlison is such a dominant presence, both physically, mentally, and tactically for the opposition, that he literally does demand so much attention. Now, at 22, that's a lot of pressure to be on your shoulders. But we've seen the glimpses in a Watford shirt, first of all, which obviously earned him that move to Everton. But now we've seen it in an Everton shirt as well. So I'm not trying to push the player out, but what is his next step?
Well, we'll see. Copa America in the summer. Richarlison will be in the Brazil squad. Yeah. If he lights up that tournament, there's no way 85 million will be enough to get him out the door.
Yeah, and you can only imagine the other clubs that will be interested in signing him as well. Right, let's check in with the state of play and Mark.
Yes, thanks, Joe. Chelsea are in talks to sign Napoli forward Dries Mertens. Mertens is out of contract in the summer and would cost at least £5 million. Newcastle have agreed a loan deal with Tottenham for Danny Rose. Daniel Podence has signed for Wolves for a fee of £16.9 million. Tottenham defender Cameron Carter-Vickers has joined Luton on loan until the end of the season. Bristol City have agreed a deal worth just under £4 million to sign Nakeem Wells from Burnley. And finally, Sunderland and Barnsley are in talks to sign Luca Connell on loan from Celtic.
Time to talk Liverpool, and I'm joined by this man. I'm happy to be joined by this man as well. Content creator, musician, chef, all-round Mr. Everything, Big Zoo.
Yeah,
We're talking your club Liverpool here now. You must be excited.
19 points clear. Yeah, I'm gassed.
Yeah, you're, as you said, 19 points clear of the main rivals, Manchester City. Surely the Premier League titles come to Anfield this season.
You know, I've been waiting for this moment to say, we have won the league. We've won the league. We won the league. I think if we lose it from now, I think I'm just going to start watching basketball.
It's been the offset. Me and you were talking about. You're still nervous, I can tell, because we're talking about calculations. Liverpool need to win 8 more games. They got to do. So you still are nervous about Manchester City.
Yeah, you know, last season we was pretty clear. Everyone says it was 11 points. I believe it was 7. But I don't know. I don't see us slipping up. But you know, this is football. Anything can happen. People get injured. You know what I mean? I feel like one injury in our defence could really make things a bit, bit sticky.
All right, this is the January transfer window. Not many signings for Liverpool. Only Minamino coming in. That came in early from Red Bull Salzburg. Are you shocked by that? Did you expect more signings?
I don't think we really need them. I think the way that the squad is set up right now, they're so powerful, and the way they're rotating with each other as well, especially the midfield, the way that all those players in midfield are coming together. I don't see the need for a new player. I don't think it will work. I don't think they'll come into the squad and be able to make an impact, unless, there's certain players.
All right, let's talk about those certain players. What if Liverpool want to go on and dominate for the next 2 or 3 seasons? Everyone's been speaking about Liverpool in terms of being a great Premier League club, have to win it time and time again. What do Liverpool need to go and dominate for the next 2 or 3 seasons?
There's one player we need.
Who's that one player?
His name begins with M and ends in Mbappe. I think if we get Mbappe, everything will change, I feel like he's the kind of person we need. And I feel like Virgil needs another partner. Just someone like that's, I don't know, got that fire. I do respect Joe Gomez, I respect Matip, I respect Lovren, but I feel like a Koulibaly or something, someone like that.
Well, Koulibaly and a Virgil van Dijk together and Mbappe up front.
Whoa. That's getting me back excited.
Let's talk about Jordan Henderson for a few minutes. I know you've been up to Liverpool, Anfield, you've met him so many times. You guys are now friends, obviously. You DM him, you told me. Is he finally getting the recognition he deserves? Liverpool captain, Champions League winner as well now. Finally getting that recognition?
100%. And people used to make jokes about Henderson. People used to compare him to the great English midfielders, but I feel like he's really getting to his stride. And I feel like what's amazing about his game recently is that attacking, going forward. Before, you used to always worry when he'll get the ball in the middle. What's he going to do? He used to be a bit frantic with it, and now he's assisting, and he's even scoring that header the other day. You saw the passion in him, man.
What about a potential Player of the Year discussion? I mean, how far away is he from Player of the Year?
Ooh, I think if he keeps going, if he keep getting important goals, keep bringing through the squad, I think he's definitely a candidate, 100%.
All right, it's hard to single out any player from Liverpool because it's been such a good season. Trent, Andy Robertson. But if you could pick out one star man for Liverpool this season, who's that man?
Ooh, I'll give it to Bobby Firmino, 100%. I feel like people have always talked about the amount of goals he scores, how influential is he for the squad, but I feel like this year his football's been amazing and he's scoring those important goals away from home, man.
Liverpool have always spoken, though, Liverpool people have always spoken about maybe Liverpool needing a number 9 like a Harry Kane or Lewandowski, but you think Firmino's that guy? You think he's that man?
The way he drops back, the way he... I don't ever see Firmino lose the ball. Whenever he gets the ball, he's going to keep it, he's going to play someone in. His job is just so important for the squad.
OK, you spoke about Mbappe, though. If Mbappe comes, who goes?
No one. I wish. You know what? I'll be real. I can see Salah going for Mbappe. Salah, he goes, Mbappe comes. We won't be that sad, you know what I mean?
Well, let's hope Liverpool can keep all 4 of them, including Mbappe. That's big zoo there for you.
Yeah, there was a few shakes of the head from Catherine here. Sorry, Big
So
Zoo,
greedy.
Everything.
Yeah, stay with us here on Transfer Talk. Plenty more to come from Big Zoo on the way. Chelsea, they're after a striker. Will they get Dries Mertens? We'll also hear from Chris Wilder as Sheffield United close in on a new signing. Stay with us. Hi there, welcome back to Transfer Talk. Let's talk Sheffield United. They're expected to break their transfer record to bring in Sander Berge from Genk. Let's get more on this. We can head live to Tim Thornton, who's been speaking to Chris Wilder this morning. Tim, if they were to get Berge, just how much of a coup would this be for the club?
Yeah, afternoon, Joe. It would be massive because they would be breaking their transfer record. He's a player that's sought after. A lot of clubs across Europe have been watching him. He's a good age. He's a regular in the Norway side. He was in their team as a teenager. He's only 21. He's 22 next month, but he's already got 20 caps for his country. And just to illustrate what a big deal this signing will be, we've even got a journalist from Norway at the press conference today. And this is a box-to-box midfielder who can do everything, and that's the type of midfielder that Chris Wilder loves. So, yeah, it will be a massive, massive signing for Sheffield United. The player is in Sheffield, ready to finalise the move, and this is what Chris Wilder told us earlier.
We're working away at a number of deals. So, a number of deals that we're close to getting over the line, and obviously, as I've said, they will be presented in the time when everything's done, out of respect to the individual clubs that we're working with, and obviously the individual players.
So Chris Wilder not giving too much away in terms of the identity of the players that are coming in. He wants 3. Berger is one of those 3. We told you yesterday as well, Richarlison Zivkovic is another. He's a young Dutch striker who's currently playing his football in China. He's also in Sheffield and close to finalising his move. That will be a loan deal. Panagiotis Retsos is the other one we understand they're looking at. He's a defender who plays for Bayer Leverkusen. So those are the 3 that Sheffield United are looking to get in. There also could be departures before the window shuts tomorrow. Leon Clark, a vastly experienced striker who has played in the Premier League for them this season. He could be on his way out, although Wilder told us they've had no offers yet for him, but he expects offers to come. He says that he's a player that he's surprised that more clubs are not in for, because he's a fantastic professional with a proven track record. And young Kean Bryan, a defender, could be loaned out later today as well. So a busy 24 hours or so expected here at Sheffield United, but there's a real buzz around the place as Sheffield United prepare to break their transfer record.
Tim, brilliant stuff. Thank you very much for now. Yeah, Sheffield United fans, stand by, because it sounds like we might have a few things to report before the deadline tomorrow. Lots of you getting in touch. We brought you some on Good Morning Transfer's reaction to this Sander Berge signing. Zoom has just said landing Berge is going to be a great signing for them. Already talented and oozes potential. He is going to be a star. We're going to turn our attention to the very latest at Chelsea now. They're in talks to sign Napoli forward Dries Mertens. Mark, tell us more about this.
I think this is fascinating, and I think this is the first summer perhaps where we're really starting to see players backing themselves. Dries Mertens is out of contract in the summer, so he can choose where he goes in the summer. So right now he's in the latter stages of his contract. The experienced 32-year-old is in talks with Chelsea. The 2 football clubs, Chelsea and Napoli, are in dialogue at the moment over potentially taking Mertens to London. He would cost at least £5 million. Frank Lampard is becoming increasingly frustrated at the lack of signings this month. Of course, everyone knows they had their transfer ban. That got lifted. And in January, we expected the club to go mad and sign players, pack the squad out with experience, bring in some new faces. But Frank's actually been quite settled. But he's starting to get a little bit irritated that things haven't moved quickly. It's a big name. He's been consistent for years at Napoli. He obviously has played around Europe, and the goal ratio he has got whilst playing for Napoli is pretty impressive. And a player at 32 years old with that kind of experience, who's played at the highest level, would be a great addition to any squad. We've seen Manchester United fans get excited about him. Chelsea fans are getting excited about him. So at the moment, this is one to monitor that's going to probably rumble on right to the deadline tomorrow.
Yeah, and you mentioned the transfer ban being lifted there, Mark. And Emma, is it surprising that Chelsea haven't done more ahead of tomorrow?
Yeah, like you said, there was so much talk about it, wasn't there? But I mean, Carve summed it up really well on the transfer show last night. And like you said Frank Lampard is a bit irritated now. He is a little bit frustrated because the transfer ban was lifted and he expected to be backed with money in this January transfer window. Their budget was supposed to be £150 million. Yet there's 1 day to go. Yes, they're in talks at the moment with Napoli, but they still haven't signed anyone at the moment, have they? And Lampard, we know, wanted a new left-back. Marcos Alonso and Emerson Palmieri don't really appear to be part of their long-term plans at the moment. He wanted a backup striker for Tammy Abraham, wanted a replacement for Eden Hazard as well, who obviously left for a phenomenal amount of money. And it looks like they'll have to wait, of course, until the summer to get Jadon Sancho in, because we said earlier in the window, at the beginning of the window, he wouldn't be allowed to leave Borussia Dortmund. It actually looks like players will be leaving Chelsea as opposed to coming in. Willian, I know we'll talk about a little later, over 30 now. He could potentially even leave this window, but probably potentially in the summer. Pedro, another one who could leave, and Olivier Giroud, someone we've been talking about a lot, who has been linked with a move away the whole of January. So.
Yeah, it's kind of wait and see what happens. And just on the player himself, I mean, actually, the tweets coming in, Manchester United fans kind of saying, why are we not getting him? Tottenham fan here tweeting as well, saying, why are Spurs not after signing him? Anton, can you see him as a player that would fit in really well in the Premier League?
Yeah, I get it. Mark talked about his goal-scoring record since moving to a central role at Napoli 2.5 years ago. And he's got experience. He's played at 2 World Cups, he's played at the European Championships, he's played in the Champions League. He's been in part of a team that's challenged for the Scudetto. This is a guy that's kind of done it all, really. So I can completely see why, the fans are clamouring for him. I'm surprised there isn't as much of a market for him, to be brutally honest. I think the age is a big factor. He's going to want one big payday. But I think from Chelsea's point of view, it's quite interesting. They're 6 points clear in the Champions League places at the moment. They're probably thinking, we don't have to spend £150 million yet. Yeah, we're pretty comfortable with our squad. Everyone else in the Premier League's faltering. No one else is particularly improving their squad. Like Manchester United bringing Bruno Fernandes may potentially make a big difference. Other than that, maybe they're just thinking, I'm not going to pay overinflated prices now. We're not going to go out and sign anybody, for a fee we don't seem fit. Let's write this out. Let's back our squad. Yeah. Let's see the season through, and let's see what happens. It's a change in strategy from what it was at the beginning of the transfer window, but Chelsea haven't been playing that well, and they're still 6 points clear. So they're probably thinking, why spend the money?
Yeah. See, I'm in sort of like I agree with you in some instances.
It's not me. That's what Chelsea.
I understand your output and the argument you made was very good, because if you have £150 million in the bank and you can get a player of Mertens' quality for let's say, be honest, a cut fee. Yeah. At that age, that can bring in a wealth of experience. I turn around and say it looks like it's a good short-term investment. But at the same time, I thought the whole philosophy of Chelsea going forward was meant to be the long-term investment. That's why you promoted Reece James from the academy. That's why you've given Mason Mount, Callum Hudson-Odoi, Tammy Abraham all of their opportunities. Isn't this a kind of a polar opposite move of exactly what you've kind of pushed as your initiative all season?
Well, not necessarily, because they're saying these guys are there, they're all on long-term contracts, that's the future, but we can't, it's unfair to just throw them all in, especially if Willian leaves, if Pedro leaves.
But you've just said it, they're sitting in fourth in the Champions League right now, so why bring in somebody that's going to turn around and halt the progress of all of those players?
Because Frank Lampard clearly doesn't trust his strikers at the moment, and that's what he's talking about, they're missing too many chances, and that could negatively affect Tammy Abraham. If he doesn't trust Giroud, doesn't trust Batshuayi, and there's a player out there who's available, then that will actually help Tammy Abraham. It's not necessarily a hindrance.
You can never underestimate experience and the value of that, being an older player that has been around.
Yeah, you can have a core belief or a core, this is what we're going to do, young players, we're going to build a squad, but actually you still need to sprinkle it with a little bit of experience here and there just to bring something in and bring them together.
But then that doesn't make any sense, because you're talking about Giroud has experience, Pedro has experience, Michy Batshuayi's played in those same international competitions. So you're going to bring a player in of exactly the same sort of standard as those players you're talking about.
You've got to back your manager. The manager's clearly gone, these guys aren't doing it. This squad needs an injection of just a little spark.
Yeah. And I mean,
will get us through.
You mentioned trust there, but I mean, it is down to performance, isn't it? It's not really down to trust. It's down to the way these players have been performing, as we said. Right, we're going to move on. A player we were talking about on Good Morning Transfers in Daniel Podence. Anton, his move to Wolves is now a done deal.
It is done. Well, subject to international clearance, but it is basically done. So if that's all done by 12 o'clock tomorrow, he will potentially be in the squad to face Manchester United on Saturday Night Football. Be quite exciting. He is a very quick, direct winger. He will get Wolves fans excited. He joins for £16.9 million from Olympiacos. Wolves basically, they wanted cover, they wanted a challenge for the likes of Adama Traore and Diogo Jota. They've got that. Now they've got one more position they want, which is a striker. That'll go to the deadline, but Wolves have just tweeted pictures of him working out in the gym. Podence. He is dense. My word, his thighs are huge. This guy is going to bring power to their attack. Next to Adama Traore. I'll tell you something. I still, bro.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's the third biggest buy in the club's history, behind Raul Jimenez and Adama Traore. Is he worth this amount of money? How will he improve?
I think they needed it. I think the Patrick Catroni experience didn't work. It didn't work out. He was more of a poacher, and it didn't work into Nuno's sort of intricate system. Whereas, moving Adama Traore forward this season has given them a zip and energy that they didn't have even at the start of this season, never mind last season. So I think he's looking to develop that, just to terrify defences. There's absolutely no problem with having loads of weapons in your arsenal, is there? And that is what Daniel Podence will do. He will terrify the opposition.
Yeah, Wolves fans, let us know what you think. Hashtag Transfer Talk. Plenty more on the way for you. We will be back with Big Zoo and Addy. We'll talk Willian. Will he be a Chelsea player by the end of tomorrow night?
Welcome back to Transfer Talk. I'm still joined at the Skypad by Big Zoo here. So many Premier League clubs are looking for strikers this window. Liverpool have been fortunate over the last few years to find some fantastic forward talent in the transfer windows. Big Zoo, I'm going to put you on the spot for this one. You're going to be in Jurgen Klopp's shoes. Liverpool have had obviously some fantastic strikers over the last few seasons. I want you to pick the best one. Ooh. So what I've done, though, I've made it a bit easier for you. What I've done, I whittled it down to 3. Here are the 3. Not that easy. Okay. Mo Salah, 87 goals, 136 games, obviously signed from Roma in 2017. PFA Player of the Year, 2017-18. That's Mo Salah. Luis Suarez, 82 goals, 133 games, signed from Ajax in 2011, that January transfer window with Andy Carroll as well. Let's not forget that. PFA Player of the Year 2013-14. And finally, this man, Fernando Torres, signed from Atletico Madrid in 2007. 81 goals, 142 games. Before you pick your one, who had the biggest impact out of all these 3, do you think?
Ooh.
So not the best, the biggest impact.
Oh, it's so tough. I mean, Suarez comes to mind straight away, but I think what Mo Salah did, getting top goal scorer, just that season, what he did there, I think that's the biggest impact I've seen.
Yeah?
100%, yeah.
What about this man, Luis Suarez, fantastic player. What he did as well, coming in, especially after Fernando Torres went to Chelsea as well, so he had to replace him, and he did it.
He definitely did. I think people always don't talk about his skill, the way he would nutmeg players, the way he destroys Norwich every time. Do you know what I mean? His goals as well. He scores spectacular goals. He scores worldies. And you know what? Sometimes people like to question his attitude off the pitch, but I feel like Suarez, when it comes to footballer, he's one of the best in the world.
And Fernando Torres, we can't forget him. Fernando Torres. Obviously, people were upset that he went to Chelsea, but when he was at Liverpool, I mean, how good was he? Yeah,
he was like quiet, like he just had something deep in him. Yeah. Like he just looked like such a humble, nice guy. But when it got to that time. Yeah, he's dangerous. He was a dangerous player. I remember him putting Vidic all over the gaff. Everyone remembers that game. Yeah, Torres, man. I mean, I was sad to see him go to Chelsea, but I was happy that he didn't do well there.
Are you shocked at how close they are in games-to-goals ratios?
Yeah.
Yeah? Does that surprise you?
No, because they're all quality players. Yeah. I mean, Salah's obviously killing it. And people did not expect that from him, which is, I think that's the main thing about Salah, is that the expectation for him was so low. Fernando Torres, Suarez, you know, these guys, people were talking about them across the world as being great strikers, whereas Salah, you know, he was
more of a winger as well, coming in, isn't he? Yeah.
Exactly, but I mean, that left foot.
All right, that was the easy part.
Yeah.
Now the hard part, you've got to pick one.
Yeah.
Who do you pick?
I'm sorry to say, I do call myself the fat Mo Salah, but I'm going with Suarez today. Suarez.
Go for Luis Suarez.
Yep.
Why Suarez out of that 3? What makes Suarez stand out? I mean, again, goals to game ratio, they're all about the same. Why Suarez?
It's the worldies. He scores them halfway line, half volleys. He puts players on their bum, the nutmegs, the aggression, the passion as well. Yeah. You know, that season when we didn't win the league, I mean, I was sad to see him cry like that, but you saw that he definitely felt a lot for the club. So, yeah, Suarez, that's who I'll pick, man.
And what do you think, guys? If you got it right, are we happy with it?
It's funny because you compare yourself to Mo Salah. I think I'm the female Fernando Torres. But, I mean, that's who I
just think when Suarez came into that Liverpool system, especially that season where he missed the beginning because of I think it was injury, was it the beginning?
Yeah.
And he just literally transformed the whole club back into what I would call a fierce winning team. Like, they were literally unbelievable, and he was the figurehead behind it. So I do think he was a massive transition at some point. So.
Yeah, anyone else agreeing, disagreeing?
I'm a massive Torres fan.
Yeah, I am as well. I'm
Team
Torres
fan.
Yeah.
And that team with Mascherano and Xabi Alonso and Gerrard and it was, you know, and he was the focal point. He was the goal scorer. And you say about the great goals that Suarez scores. Well, yeah, he bullied lesser opposition, didn't he? But Torres would destroy United. And this was a much better United team. Put Vidic in his pocket, didn't he? So I'm a big Torres. You know when you have an emotional attachment to a player as well? For some reason, I just love that guy.
I've got an emotional attachment to Big Mo Salah. I want to see you play football.
Lefty. Lefty. Every time.
We might see him rap later. Maybe not a bit of football on set, but a bit of rapping later.
I can do kick-ups.
Yeah. Two players that weren't in that screen grab there were Firmino and Sadio Mane. How far away are they from those 3?
Ooh, Mane is a beast, 100%. I don't know, I think with these guys, it's the amount of goals they score. Obviously, Mane's getting there, Firmino as well, but I feel like they could maybe be next to them in the queue, but they're not up there with them yet.
So that's your man, though, Luis Suarez.
100%. He's still killing it.
Would you have him back at Liverpool?
Yes. I wouldn't say no. I mean, you know, I love Origi. You're a good guy. Divock, I love you. But if him coming on when Firmino's a bit tired, come on.
There you go, Big Zoo's choice. Luis Suarez back at Anfield.
Excellent, Big Zoo. Thank you very much for now. We will hear more from Big Zoo very shortly. We're kind of rewinding the clock there a little bit. We're going to look into the future now because we're going to play our little stay or go game. Big questions over Willian's future. Will he be a Chelsea player come 11 o'clock tomorrow night? Barcelona preparing that last-minute £20 million bid for the Chelsea winger. He is out of contract, of course, at the end of the summer. So, Willian, should he stay at Chelsea? Should he go to Barcelona or anywhere else for that matter? Cast your votes now.
Yeah, I do feel
I
know Anton was waiting, but I do feel this way.
So, Emma, I've got to come to you first because you are the only one saying stay. Why should he stay at Chelsea?
I think for Chelsea, they would want him to stay. We were talking about it in the last part, about his experience, a bit of a why he's ahead amongst a really young team at the moment. And also, I was saying about it this morning on Good Morning Transfers that obviously, you know, ahead of this season, a lot of people thought his minutes would be diminished really with the likes of Callum Hudson-Odoi coming through, the likes of Christian Pulisic at the side as well. But he continues to play minutes. He's had 5 different managers since his time at Chelsea, but continues to be an integral part of the team really. 2 Premier League titles, Europa League winner, an FA Cup winner, League Cup winner, Copa America winner with Brazil last year. The list goes on, guys.
Yeah,
So it's time to leave.
Yeah, exactly. So he's done it all.
Why is it time to leave?
Honestly, yeah.
I think, great argument, Emma.
I know.
However, I just think when Barcelona come knocking, this is an opportunity you can't turn down. At 31 years old, you don't get this opportunity again.
We've had it before, though, in fairness.
and it didn't work out. But this is his chance now. He's been a terrific servant for Chelsea. He's won everything. He's been a massive part of what they do. I've always been massively impressed whenever I've watched him. He's a pocket dynamo. He makes things happen. You know, he has the ability to be an integral part of that attack. And I think he would fit in really nicely at Barcelona. I think he would seamlessly work in that front 3. I think he could be good. Are you going to change your card?
I don't know. You're kind of taking me out of it.
There's someone on my shoulder that's not happy here.
Me personally, the reason I'm going to stick with Go, the only reason why I would say Go is because I think he's proven his legacy. He's probably one of the best Brazilians to ever play in the Premier League, alongside maybe Gilberto and Juninho off the top of my mind. And he is created, he's won everything. We're talking about FA Cups, League Cups, Europa Leagues, Premier Leagues twice. So what else? At 31, you just got to think about the longevity of your career and sitting in Spain.
Go in La Liga. Go play Messi.
Go where it's warm. Yeah. That's what I'm always going to put it. Go where it's warm.
Well, that is what you guys think. Chelsea fans, let us know. Should Willian stay or go? Use that hashtag transfer talk. Up next, we'll be discussing potential deadline day deals who could make a move before that window closes.
Okay, we're back at the Sky Pad with Big Zoo, and this section won't be easy. I've given him a tough task of naming his best ever in the Premier League era, 5 Liverpool signings. You can't change your mind now.
Nope.
Yep, you've got your 5?
Yeah.
All right, let's have a look at the 5. Let's start with the first one. Javier Mascherano.
Jeez.
Might surprise a few people, obviously signed from West Ham in 2007. How does and why does Mascherano get into your top 5?
Quality. Absolutely quality. You know, I can't name you many players like him that have come to the Prem that have just been absolutely outstanding. When he went to Barcelona, he proved why he was such a good player as well. Having him come into our team at that time, having such a good player like that coming to Liverpool, for me was just a good moment. And also, you know, playing the little games, you know, using him on the squad as well was great.
People spoke about Mascherano in that Liverpool midfield with Dirk Kuyt, Mascherano, Gerrard, Alonso, probably Liverpool's best ever Premier League midfield.
100%, like, I'll put him up there with them. And he's just a beast. You'd definitely be scared to go into a one-on-one with him, you know, when the ball's in the middle. You wouldn't want to go in with Mascherano. He might break your leg or something, do you know what I mean?
So Mascherano's in there because he's a beast, but also because he's very good. All right, let's move on. This one might, well, not this one, but you've got a couple of surprises in there.
Go on. Oh.
Fernando Torres.
Yes.
Had to go in there, didn't he? Fernando Torres, fantastic player for Liverpool. Obviously signed from Atletico Madrid in 2007. Went to Chelsea, unfortunately, in 2011. Why Fernando Torres?
In the time he was at the club, everyone was talking about him. I think everyone that was watching English football was talking about what Fernando Torres was doing. He's just a undercover bad boy. I think, like I said, he's got that baby face. You know, he's got the little red cheeks. You know, you think he's just going to be a little ball boy. No. Beast. Absolutely. Yeah, I think he was a savage, and just his finishing, the way he would just destroy Czech, you know, make Czech just look like a wasteman.
All right, so I think most people might be in agreement with the first two, Mascherano, Fernando Torres. What about the third one? Let's go to number 3. See, a few laughs from our panel there. This one you might need to explain. Look, fantastic talent. Ryan Babel, signed from Ajax, had a very good Euros. I remember at the Euros for the under-21s. Sought after talent as well.
Yeah.
Ryan Babel?
I just want to give a little disclaimer. Are you seeing the time that they was at the squad, yeah? It's because I was like proper in love with Liverpool at this time. Even though we weren't playing the best football, we weren't doing the best. You know, at this time, these are the kind of players that kept me supporting my club, kept me in love with Liverpool, even though we weren't doing very well. Ryan Babel, he's a skillful player, skillful. I absolutely loved it every time he was on the ball. He always had a big smile, you know. Just I don't know. You guys are laughing.
Like any MC, good on his feet. I like that.
I feel like he's trying to convince himself.
Yeah.
We'll find out in a few seconds.
But Liverpool don't have many techie players like Babel. You know, Babel with the little, you know, him. I just love the way he would just cut through the wing, you know, pull it through a man's legs, and then maybe score 1 or 2 goals.
Ryan Babel.
Yeah.
He makes music as well. That's probably a little hint right there.
See? Didn't you know that?
All right, let's move on to the next one. 100% Luis Suarez. You
Obviously.
picked him earlier as your best striker in the forward line. Obviously signed from Ajax in 2011. He's got to be in there, hasn't he?
100%. I remember what he was doing in the World Cup before he came to Liverpool, and everyone was like, yeah, see, we are the greatest transfer market team in the world. I don't know, Suarez, his impact on the squad, his absolute ruthlessness in front of goal, everything about him, 100%. That's why I put him there.
All right, no arguments with me about Suarez. And the final one, last but certainly not least, the big man, Virgil van Dijk. Talk to me about Virgil van Dijk. Obviously, a lot of people say I'm one of the best Premier League defenders. Does he go in that for you already now?
Of course. Listen, I've never seen a player come into a squad and completely change a whole team. He just commands us. I was at the Everton game where he scored his first goal, and the feeling was just unreal. I mean, this guy controls the whole line. I feel like the other defenders are like his children, and he just tells them what to do. You come, you know what I mean? So, I love it, man, Virgil.
All right, so that's your 5. Javier Mascherano, Fernando Torres, Ryan Babel, Luis Suarez and Virgil van Dijk. No arguments with me about a few of those. The panel might in a minute. Look, you've missed out on some, though. Xabi Alonso, not in your top 5. Xabi Alonso, he's won everything.
Yeah.
Champions League winner for Liverpool in 2004-05. He doesn't make the cut?
Just didn't have that oomph for me. No, I'm joking. Listen.
That's criminal.
I had 5.
That's criminal.
I went with who I had a personal connection with. These are players that, you know, when they were at the club, I just absolutely loved them. I did love Alonso, always loved Alonso, but, you know, he just didn't make the cut, man. Maybe I might have had him 6th, you know?
To be fair, Big Zoo, we have given you a really
All right, guys,
tough task.
who's he missed out on there, Joe? Talk to me. Who's he missed out on?
Yeah, I mean, we've been kind of talking amongst ourselves as to who we think
I mean,
are the obvious ones that you've missed out. JD?
There's a couple that I just think sit with Liverpool fans. I'm surprised you never said it, but I mean, Luis Garcia. For me, during that time, the babyface assassin scored that famous ghost goal. I grew up watching those famous battles between Liverpool and Chelsea. So Luis Garcia, I know he's a fan favourite, and I know that they still sing that song for him, about him going back to Barcelona with all the sangria. So I'm telling you now, like...
He's got a point.
I didn't expect that name.
I know,
I don't know what's going on.
I mean, big Salah. You didn't mention Mo Salah.
Yeah.
No Mane.
Nah.
What about keepers, Alisson?
Well, Alisson did change everything, but, you know... No, man.
There's no Ryan Babel.
You know, Ryan Babel's got swag with it. And you see what he did at Fulham.
Big Zoo, no, thank you for that, because it is difficult choosing 5. So we appreciate your transfer playlist. We're going to turn our attention to deadline day, because there is just one day to go. I can hardly believe it myself. Still a bit of work to do for some clubs before the window shuts. You guys going out and about. Mark, you're going to be in the studio. I'll be in the studio later on, counting down to the deadline with Jim White. Very exciting times. Emma, you're off to Watford. Yeah. You expecting to be busy?
I hope I'm busy.
Yeah.
I really hope I'm busy. They've only brought in one player so far, Udinese winger Ignacio Pacetto. They're really desperate for a left-back. We know they were interested in Danny Rose. Looks like he's on his way to Newcastle. So it's Birmingham's Christian Pedersen who is kind of the front runner at the moment. So I'm hoping for a busy day at Watford tomorrow. I mean, Nigel Pearson's got a good squad there and he's really getting the best out of his players at the moment, which perhaps the other 2 managers they've had this season weren't. But yeah, I'm hoping I'm busy tomorrow. I should be speaking to Ignacio Pacetto as well, actually. So he's doing some media tomorrow as well. So
brilliant.
Sorry, just drop that in.
Yeah, no, excellent. We'll stand by for that. Anton, it's Wolves for you.
I'm speaking to Nuno tomorrow.
There we go. Do you think Wolves, have they done all their business already?
No, they want a striker. They really want a striker. They wanted Nelson Oliveira, who known from the days in the Championship, and that may well not get over the line. There's been no bid since Friday, so back to the drawing board. They'll have a long list of targets like most people, but they want a striker. Join the list of teams that want a striker, I suppose. But Wolves like signings from, that you've probably lots of people never heard of or haven't thought of. They like doing things a little bit differently. So it may well be a name that we don't know a lot about, but we'll still get Wolves fans excited. So yeah, watch us tomorrow. Wolves fans, striker is your priority.
Yeah, and you guys, you're across the 3 W's because you're off to West Ham, JT.
In London, man. In London.
What can we expect to hear from you tomorrow?
I mean, I think, honestly, the last sort of 48 hours has been kind of positive for West Ham. So I'm expecting good energy going down to Rush Green. I mean, it's the loan signing of Souček as well, bringing it in, dynamic midfielder. They spoke so much in the window about bringing in players that could kind of improve the squad instantly. They missed out on the Jedson deal, as we spoke about throughout the whole of January. But to bring in a player that's in form, has won so many accolades in terms of his own respective league, but to come in here, 6'4", dynamic player, a typical type of David Moyes player, and he's meticulous with his details. So I think that is a very good one to get over the line leading up to the deadline, but also they're probably going to be in the window for a right back as well. Looking at the injuries to Ryan Fredericks, I know he's done very well in terms of value for money, but at the same time they would want cover in the position. I know we spoke about the Aaron Long bid that's been rejected, but at the same time they're clearly actively looking for just a little bit of cover in that right back position. So hopefully I'm a bit busy on deadline day. It won't be too cold. Yeah, no woolly hats.
No, I was just going to ask if you've checked the weather forecast and have you planned accordingly in terms of snacks and things? Are
a big sky
brolly on hand.
Yeah, I mean, I think tomorrow could be the day of the veteran.
Yeah.
Couldn't it? The likes of Giroud, Mertens, Danny Rose hasn't completed his move. It's these kind of players around 30, a little bit older than 30, I think, looking to get a move, looking to get game time. The Euros as well are going to be really important.
Nice.
The players who want to play.
Yeah.
So there will be moves tomorrow. It's been a quiet window, isn't it? But it will be busy tomorrow with names that you've heard of, established names looking for a move.
Yeah, and Mark, you're part of the transfer team here in the studio. We were working out it is 16 deadline days and 7 different clubs that you've covered over the past few years.
Legendary.
Do you have any particular standout deadline day moments? Any favourites that you can share with us?
I have so many.
Probably,
I have so many. I remember the big one was when Bournemouth signed Jack Wilshere. That was a really dramatic deadline day. And I think I hold the record as well for the most interviews with Harry Redknapp through the car window in one day. And I might speak to the Guinness World Records and see if I can get that confirmed, because I did 3 interviews with him when he was QPR boss and he signed 5 players on deadline day. And we were jumping from the training ground to the stadium, Loftus Road, and back again. And it was manic, but brilliant. And Harry comes alive in those situations because he knows how to spot a player. So, yeah, there's so many. I could sit here and talk for hours about all the things that have happened to me on deadline day. But the most important thing is phone chargers and food.
It's true.
Yes,
phone charger, food.
I was going to ask you, because you are such a veteran of it.
You're making me sound old.
Well, no, you're not old. You've just been in the game for a long time. You started when he was 12 or something. What would be your top tips for the guys going out on the road?
Phone charger, number 1. Be nice to everyone. Take chocolate. You need to agents, managers, press officers, chief execs. You need everyone on your side to give you the information, and that's
Bribes.
the thing. Bribes.
Yeah,
Sweets in the
I'm not allowed
pocket.
to say that on TV. It's not bribes. They're influencers.
Yeah, no, well, it is going to be a good day. Just lots of people getting in touch using that hashtag transfer talk, wanting to see more business done. James has said, you know what, United should just chuck out a loan bid for Giroud until the end of the season. Great at holding the ball up and linking play. He's a proven goal scorer as well. Why not? Daniel says Bruno Fernandes is going to be a great signing for United, but finishing this window without signing a striker would be a major failure. So it's going to be really interesting to see if United get a striker in before the deadline. Jack backs that up. He says if we don't sign a striker, we won't finish in the top 4. Lots of people talking about Dries Mertens as well. Danny says, I feel like Dries Mertens to Chelsea would be a great signing. He'd fit into the squad and score the goals we are missing. So, yeah, stand by for tomorrow. A busy day, hopefully. Before we say bye to the transfer team today, we have got one final treat for you from Big Zoo.
Man.
Yeah, we couldn't let Big Zoo go, musician, without dropping a few bars for us.
Love that.
I hear there's a Liverpool song floating around that is dedicated to Liverpool.
Little one, yeah.
Get a few lines, a few bars.
All right, cool. You lot ready?
We're ready. I'm ready.
Hit me.
Let's go.
All right, cool. Let me tell you something about my team. Liverpool were the best in the scene. If you don't know, we're trying to fight for the league. We're against Man City, so coming first is the dream. In the Prem, our defence is the best. 75 M's man had to invest. Now Van Dijk makes the other team score less with Trent and Robertson. I swear that man don't rest. You'll be upset if we're coming on the press. Whip it to Bobby, you know we catch it on his chest. Back heel Mo's gonna hit it with finesse. Sadio with the pace, so you know it's some stress. And they ain't going past for Bino. One pass he can find for Mino. If we don't score, Mane bangs the reload. You get me?
Hey! Every day.
Thank you so much for that.
I love that.
No, we love that. What a way to end Transfer Talk today, the day before deadline day. That is it for Transfer Talk. Thank you so much, Addy. Thank you so much, Big Zoo. We like that as well, but you can't take away from Big Zoo. That was absolutely fantastic. Team, thank you so much. Thank you to Jerry, to Mark, to Anton and to Emma. Enjoy your day tomorrow, out and about. Make sure you do stay warm. And remember, Good Morning Transfers, it returns on deadline day tomorrow at 9 o'clock. Stu Smith will be joining us. And then the final Transfer Talk of this window returns tomorrow from midday. Darmish and Cavi, they'll be back with a transfer show that continues at 7 o'clock tonight. Yeah, just one day to go for clubs to get their business done. Who will be busy before that window shuts? We'll keep you across all of the deals right here. Stay with us on Sky Sports News.